Good morning, TFR.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Rail Media is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the Ironworx with Zach, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
It is Tuesday, my dudes.
Pretty sure that's right. I'm pretty sure it is Tuesday, my dudes, and a happy Tuesday to you all. My name is Josh Corey, and you have tuned in to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com, simulcast across the plane via Restream, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, DLive, all sorts of good places. I am joined this morning by two good friends and co-hosts this morning, starting off with Mr. Lucas King, LC King on YouTube. Lucas, how are you doing?
I'm good. Just trying to get this tea organized. It seems to be unfurling as it should. So let's hope it tastes as good as it looks.
Well, let's hope. We kind of rushed you through your tea making process this morning, so we'll see how it unfurls the rest of the way. I'm also joined
coughing and spluttering.
We're also joined this morning by Mr. Zachary Zabala. You may know him as Good Times for All here on YouTube. Zach, how about you, sir? How are you doing? How unfurls your tea?
Hey, Josh. Hey, Lucas. Hello, everybody out there in TFR land. Not doing bad. Getting excited. It's almost time to plant. Lucas is probably on the other end of that. He's probably happy that some of his work will be cut back a little bit through his fall and winter season. But yeah, this is awesome. It's been 2 years since I've been able to care for a garden. My last garden that I built was out there in Detroit, and I had to walk away from it like just as all the seeds started sprouting. We had 100-foot beds, 16 of them, with 9 rows in each bed. It was over 100,000 seeds easy. And I had just promised all these little things I was going to care for them and take care of them and love them, and and then I had to turn around and leave. That hurt. And I haven't had a garden since. So I'm excited. I need this. I really do.
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
Things are getting good for me. I'm getting excited. How are you doing, Josh?
I'm not doing too bad. We got 12 little seeds planted over the weekend. So we shall see what becomes of those. Well, that's a lie. I had 36 little seeds planted and 12 little planters because I know how I tend to grow things. So we'll see. Trying to supplement our flower bill.
There you go.
So I'm going to need some tips and tricks and all that kind of good stuff while these little babies come up.
What kind of flowers did you plant?
Oh, cannabis.
Ah, those are good flowers.
the only real flower that makes a dent in my income.
I was going to say, there's some good flowers out there to plant in your garden for medicinal purposes. I love the purple cone flower. That's one of my favorites. Echinacea. A lot of people, echinacea. People say it differently.
Echinacea. Yeah. Echinacea.
Over here, I just call it purple cone flower, and people know what it means or what it is. Yeah, the roots to these flowers. They're antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, anti-inflammatory. They're amazing. You'll find that with golden seal mixed together in a lot of things, because golden seal is that probiotic, and then you have all these things in there, and it just helps clean out your gut. And it's a pretty flower. It's a good one to have around. I'm looking
Any
for
others?
wild patches. That's one that that in my golden seal, I always made sure. I mean, you can use other flowers for other things. I just don't. I'm pretty blessed when it comes to all that kind of stuff. I don't have too many illnesses. But yeah, there is no flower that has no use.
Well, I grew oregano this year, and that's supposedly a pretty potent sort of, especially when you get the oil and stuff. I'm
a
big fan of
herb.
oils. Yeah, the oil's
What's
great.
the other ones? Sage. I grew sage as well, and that's like, you get those bunches. No, didn't grow any time. With the sage, you get the dry bunches, and you can like swash out your house.
That's right. Smudge the evil spirits away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually would do sage, summer savory. I'd always have tarragon growing. I love tarragon because it comes back and it grows. Man, does it grow. It would be like waist high before most things were even like 6 inches tall. Yeah, I love tarragon. Sorrel. I loved sorrel in my herb garden. Borage, peppermint, spearmint, chives, the garlic chives, anything that is a perennial and just keeps coming back. Besides your basils and things like that, I had my in my herb garden always. I had a couple different types of oregano. I had Italian oregano and then Greek oregano. The Greek oregano, it almost tastes like it's been doused in pepper. It's got this real sharp spice to it that people like in a lot of their pasta sauces and stuff like that. It's not too bad. But I mean, any herb out there you can really use. How many flavors of basil are there? I couldn't even tell you. I had 7 growing in my garden one year, different flavors of basil. Other good plants to plant in your garden. I would put spearmint, just little spearmints every so often throughout your garden. That will help you with your pests. I don't ever put pesticides down. I never used any of the powders or anything like that to try to keep bugs away. I would just put spearmint down. And I'd have a couple bugs here and there. I don't think you can really get rid of stink bugs. Do you get those, Lucas, down there on the outer edges? They attack the zucchini first. And they have little brown seeds that they lay underneath the edges of the leaves, like in between the veins of the leaves. There'll be little eggs, but they're like a brown bug. and they'll eat your zucchini plants.
No, I haven't had them, I don't think. But I got a lot of bugs. I got those big, wide sort of green ones, and they're hard to see when you're trying to wash your veggies. Like hand them a bunch of spinach, and you're like, hold on a second, I'll grab that bug off there.
But really, a lot of people over here, I mean, I don't want to say a lot of people, but there are people that prefer to see bugs on it. Really, I mean, they know that it's, that a bug
Just
will
not
eat
too
it.
many.
Yeah, they don't want, more bugs than greens. But one bug in there means, hey, maybe, this came right from the garden. It wasn't washed and then put into any type of sterilizer or nothing like that. And they know that a bug will eat it. That's the big thing. Because here in the United States, there's so much genetically modified stuff that has the poison grown into it. Bugs can't eat it. So yeah, they see bugs, they're like, ooh, that, I mean,
yeah, it's good.
I heard down in
a lot
South
of people
America,
do actually do that. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll look for the fruit with the little bugs, that have eaten into it already, with the little bug holes in it. They know that's safe to eat them. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, sometimes I get these waves of lady beetles, and it's just like you bag up your salad, you think you got rid of most of them, and then they just start crawling out to the top. It's just like your whole bag's full of. It just takes a little bit longer. That's all. Trying to save them out of the water and get out. I'm friendly to all creatures.
Yeah, ladybugs are really good for getting rid of those little red mites that pop up on your flower plants there, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ladybugs are good to have around. They're good at eating a lot of other pests, and they don't mess with your plants too much.
No, they don't seem to eat much of it at all. But we do get those little black mites sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And you sort of get a wave of those guys, and then you'll get a hot day and they'll all disappear. So, yeah, it's interesting. You just see these little sort of colonies come and go, and, I don't worry about it. I just figure that if there's too much of a population, then something else will come in that's decent and eat it, and then you'll have the predator living with the, with the guys that, upset you.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I
there's
guess
an equilibrium that'll eventually happen,
This year is the year of the not locust. What are they?
Cicadas?
Having a brain fart. Yeah, cicada. They were out last year, but this year is like the 17-year cycle, the big one supposedly. Because I mean, they don't all do it at the same time. Of course, there's going to be some that are, a year ahead, a year after. I think there's a 7-year cycle, a 2-year cycle, and then the 17-year cycle is the big one, supposedly, around here. And I guess that's going to be this year. So I don't know. I might have to get some kind of netting or something out just in case. Because I know they
might have to get some earmuffs too. How many go there? Because I just get that like pulse happening. You just like woof woof, and you're like, wow.
Bob was so freaked out last year. That was the first time he'd ever heard one.
Have you showed him one yet?
Yeah.
The exoskeleton. Did you get him a good hard exoskeleton for him? Those are creepy as all hell.
Crack in the back. Yep. And it's just it's like, how do you fit through that little hole without breaking that whole shell apart? Yeah, it's amazing. He's like, what is that? He thought like there was an alien invasion coming or something.
I want to give a real quick shout out.
Yeah, those are bugs.
Shout out to Walter Johnson. Walter's in bed. He was dealing with his pipes this weekend because it got cold down south. His pipes burst. So he had to deal with that Friday and all weekend long, apparently. And in the process has managed to throw his back out really good. So send some love and healing vibes towards Walter. Let's get his back repaired and loosened up and feeling better. So we love you, Walter. We miss you. But feel free.
It, man.
Just relax. Take it easy this morning.
Once I hurt my back, every time I twinge it, it sucks. You just feel so helpless. The first time, I swear I'd bend my knees just a little bit and I would fall on the ground. It hurt so bad. I couldn't help it. My legs just would quit working. Yeah, back pain is the worst.
Far out. That's rough.
Yeah. Yeah, it could turn an 18-year-old into a 90-year-old real quick.
I got electrocuted when I was like 22, I think it was. And I was basically up in this jam room, and one of the guys had the microphone plugged in, and then on the other side was plugged into, bass amp was plugged in, and so one of them didn't have an earth, and so what happened was, basically grabbed the guitar and then grabbed the microphone and then just like shot like huge amounts of DC electricity through me, and I don't think my back's ever been the same since that, but it was like for about 3 weeks after, it felt like someone had punched you in the middle of the chest. That was rough.
Man, you're lucky to be alive.
Yeah, that was a trippy day.
Have you ever seen those idiots who try sticking pennies into light sockets? They'll they'll stick a cord into the wall like a cell phone charger, just enough to where they can stick a penny down in behind it and connect the two.
Try this at home.
I guess people have died doing it. One young man died at school doing this. It's
What's the penny do though? Shoot off?
I don't know. They never showed that far into the video. They just showed him getting ready to do it, and it said dead. Like, do not do this. This is, and he was like in high school. This wasn't a 7, 8, 10-year-old, 5-year-old. This guy was 16, 17 years old. How stupid are you?
Fairly stupid, I'd say.
I play around. I mess with it, but I don't try to kill myself with it.
Well, it still requires respect. And turns out most teenagers don't understand a whole lot about respect and how and when it's deserved. But with electricity, you learn real quick, or set an example at least.
Yeah, for everybody else. There's certain things you don't play around with.
Yeah, and you don't get your toast, your toast out of the toaster with a knife. Simple stuff.
Yeah. You don't go swimming, with your toaster.
Or hairdryer.
Yeah, it ends poorly every time. It's just common sense stuff. It's like, how does this... I don't know. I don't know what would be going through. I've done stupid stuff in bets, stuff like that, where it's like, yeah, I'm probably going to hurt myself, but not to that extreme. Come on. Oh, and I used to watch children at the YMCA. I was a summer counselor. Probably one of my favorite jobs ever. Playing bombardment with like 70 kids, just whizzing balls at them. It was awesome. But this one young man, Ian, he was super smart. Like, he was either going to be, like a superhero type architect, or more or less like Dr. Evil. And he was definitely going towards the Dr. Evil side. Well, everybody's out doing something and playing, and then my mom worked there. She was the receptionist at the Y forever, like over a decade. And she went into the multi-purpose room for something, to get something signed or something, and she sees him over in the corner sticking a fork into the light socket. I never saw my mom freak out like that. My mom, she grabbed him, was shaking him, was getting ready to slap him. what the hell is wrong with you? I mean, she scared these big, they were only in college, the other counselors. But man, you should, these big guys, 6'6", 300-pound, turned into be a police officer in Gary, Indiana. This guy was scared shitless of my mom, little 5'6", But yeah, just the stupidity of some people with playing with those electrical outlets. I was taught that at a very young age, very, very young,
Yeah, I think most people were. Maybe not now. I don't know.
Well, now it's all social. Let's do a social media stunt. Let's eat Tide Pods. What are the other stupid? Those things kind of died out, didn't they?
Yep.
These internet challenges.
A little bit.
It's about time.
So we got about 5 minutes before we hit our first break. I did just want to comment on what a great show Have No Sphere was on Friday. And thank you again, Lucas, for facilitating that show, because that was fucking awesome.
Wasn't it just? Oh, that was, yeah, hard to back it up after that. That was a lot of fun. So, really good conversation and seemed to cover the whole gamut, didn't it?
It really did. If you guys missed it, we did have Marty Leeds pop on. We had Benjamin Balderson pop back on. There's somebody else. Seems like I'm missing somebody. I don't know. Somebody or something. It'll come to me. Maybe. But yeah, that was a great conversation.
We were supposed to have Tommy on.
We were supposed to have Tommy on, that flat fellow. But unfortunately, he had to work late. He had been needing to work late quite a bit that week, and I think he identified it early and gave us a heads up at least. So
yeah.
Well, we had that other Aussie guy on. I forgot his name though.
Right.
Tough.
I know which one you're talking about though. Other Lucas. We'll just call him Other Lucas for now.
Other Lucas. Yep. Yeah, it's been awesome having Rob jump back into the mix.
It really has.
These last couple weeks. It's been so cool having him around. I love that guy.
Oh, he's good, isn't he?
I love him and John's
back
and forth.
Yeah.
And then playing the victim. I love it. Because Rob, if you don't know Rob, you know Rob is not the victim. like ever. Rob will tell you, he is not one of those social justice snowflakes at all, but he plays one well on IRM. Now you're just picking on me. That hurt my feelings. Yeah.
So you're going to talk about what you've been working on, Zach, that little article? That'd be good.
Yeah, we could talk about it a little bit.
We got about 2 minutes before we hit the break, so make it quick.
Maybe after the break.
All right, maybe after the break, you take your time. Whatever.
Yeah, we'll do it after the break.
Go ahead and sum it up in 2 minutes, Zach. Read it and sum it up in 120 seconds and go.
And that's pretty much it right there.
There you go.
Pretty coherent and understandable. Just rewind later and play it back in -7 speed, and you'll get all of it.
I used to have a rewind sound on here. I can never remember what gets saved, what doesn't.
Well, I was hoping Jonathan was going to jump in. He was rearing and ready to go yesterday.
Yeah, he was.
5 a.m.
He's been too busy working. I think he just forgot what day it was.
Yeah, we had a nice chat over the weekend. Yeah, he's a good guy.
He is. I like Jonathan. He's always got something going on.
Yeah, he's looking for answers. He's searching, which is all we can do. You can either sit around and wait,
That's right.
yeah, or go look. Usually, the sitting around and wait, you find a lot of lies come that way. When you sit around and wait for someone to tell you.
Yeah, especially with the way it is these days. I mean, it's very difficult to find anything, I find. And yeah, so you just have to sort of. That's why the way I research, I tend to just like skim read a whole bunch of stuff. So I just try and get an overall perspective, and then I can go and hone in after that. You know what I mean? So you get it. Rather than taking one article or one thing, because there's so much information out there, you can just really go.
For that break hits us. Oh, sorry to interrupt, but
I'll relax.
We'll come back to that and a little bit from Zach here on the other side of the break, right here on the Ironworks. Oh, it looks like my clock's just a little off.
We need to slow down the morning. It's going too fast.
From the dawn of man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD report relief from inflammation and chronic pain, balanced blood sugar and cardiovascular system, relief from muscle tensions, tremors, migraines, headaches, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on. The big question is, where do you get it? iLife is a 99% pure CBD oil made with all organic ingredients, and it's available to TFR listeners worldwide. If you use coupon code TFR at checkout, you'll get $5 towards your order. Head on over to ialife.com now. That's AYA life.com.
This is iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move. When you have a great melody, a song to last
Forever. Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes.
Did you know you can listen to Truth Frequency Radio on iHeartRadio? Just download the app to your smart car, smartphone, or smart TV and get the best of TFR wherever you are.
iHeartRadio.
I'll see you there.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google or the iTunes App Store.
Greetings, Earth Explorers. My name is Brooke Agnew, and I am your host on X Squared Radio every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Truth Frequency Radio Network. This is where the past meets the future. We explore the mysteries of the universe and of the Earth. We might go a little past your imagination, but have no fear. You will be safely traveling with us. We will dissolve the propaganda of dangerous people with dangerous plans for the planet. We will discuss the latest technologies and challenges for humankind. We will discover the safest place for you to stand when the thinkings and doings of mankind come flying apart, and how you can be one of the people that helps put it back together. Join us.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the Truth Frequency.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
morning. Ding, ding, ding. Ba, 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 bow, bow, ba, 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 bow. Good morning. Ba, ba, bow, ba, 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 bow. Good morning. Ba, ba, bow, ba, 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 bow. Beautiful day. Ba, 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 bow. It's a beautiful day. Ding, ding, ding.
And welcome back to the Ironworks on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Just Zach, Lucas, and Josh hanging out with you this morning. Walter is taking the morning off to rest and recuperate.
We miss you, Walt.
We do miss you terribly, Walter. Hopefully we'll get to talk to you on Wednesday. Hopefully so.
Even if you're just in the background going, ah.
I was waiting for the mummy. Yeah, hopefully you can get a massage or something like that to chiropractor.
Something.
Just go and work their magic. Chunk.
Yeah, and every time it happened, after I heard it the first time took like a month to where I was back to normal. But then I would twinge it, usually about once a year. It was always during gardening season, getting back into gardening. But it would be like a week ordeal every time. It would be like that muscle in my back would just tighten up, like a fist was just sticking out of my lower left back, like a big bulge under there. And then it would take like a week for that to slowly loosen. It didn't matter what I did. I'd sit there and beat on it and grind it up against the corner of a counter or something, and hot, heat, and cold, and this and that. Every time it takes about a week, it seems, for it to loosen up and get to where it doesn't bother me so much. Yeah, back problems are the worst. I feel for you, Walt.
Yeah, I've had my fair share. Sit-ups, actually. Usually, when
you did it with sit-ups.
It helps a whole lot. If your core is not as strong, then your back has to compensate. And when your back has to compensate, then it sort of overworks itself, and it can get itself in that vicious cycle of being tight and painful. And the more it hurts, the tighter it gets, and the tighter it gets, the more it hurts.
Well, maybe this chair I use now is going to help, because I use one of those chairs with no back, and I always have it in my mind: sit up straight, stop slouching, sit up straight. So it's kind of like exercising almost. And then I just move it back and forth as I'm sitting there. So yeah, maybe my core will be nice and strong this year, so I don't hurt my back.
The other one that really helps with the back, especially the lower back, is actually the hamstrings and where they join up into the hips. So if you can actually get right up in there where the hamstrings join and sort of press on them and loosen them off, that really sort of helps the lower back. A lot of sitting and stuff like that doesn't help, that's for sure.
Yeah, look how your dog stretches if you have a dog. That downward dog stretch where they stick their butt up in the air and their chest as low to the ground as they can get. That's how you stretch out those hamstrings. That lower back like that. Yeah, a lot of people knock yoga, but it'll keep you limber and stretched, and your balance good. That's what it's not about building lots of muscles. It's just about learning how to breathe, working on your balance, and keeping your muscles limber and stretched, so these types of things don't happen to you. It's more of a preventative maintenance than like a building type of thing. But yeah, I recommend yoga to anybody over 30, 35, just to keep you. Now, I don't do it, so I
I used to do it every week. It was brilliant. Yeah, but after a while, you'd feel way stronger and just way more balanced, because you're working on these little sort of balance muscles, really, rather than the
Stabilizers.
big ones.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps work your core, your base muscles, not the big glamour muscles like your biceps and your pecs, but all the other little muscles around them that do all the real work, when they aren't doing the work.
And it helps find problems too, especially like for me when I was either driving a tractor constantly or working in the garden or something like that. And you'd be off kilter if you're in the tractor, you're always turning around to look at the back of the tractor or something like that. Or, in the garden, I'm sort of working, sideways. And, when you do yoga, then you start actually evening out again. And then, you keep once you're in balance that way, you feel a hell of a lot better, that's for sure.
Yeah, Voynich in chat is saying, yoga? What is yoga? Let's see. What is yoga? Yoga works on the level of one's body, mind, emotion, and energy. This has given rise to a four broad blah, 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 blah. Okay. No, that's one of those. Okay.
Callum.
It's pretty much like stretching, but with like exactly knowing where your feet are, where the way your hands are turned. You're stretching muscles. The key is to stretch these muscles that you barely ever stretch and use. There's so many different poses, and if you don't do the pose right, then you're not stretching those muscles the correct way. Like the way your feet are lined up and the way you're like your palm up, your palm down, all these different little movements will stretch different types of muscles. So it's not just going out there and doing it, it's really doing it correctly and knowing the poses, to where you don't even have to think about it. You just go into them and do it. So it takes some time to get to there. The best is to have like a DVD video instructor or something like that. And they'll remind you, okay, remember at this point, you want your toe pointed straight on you. And then on your left foot, you want the toe pointed to the left or to the right. Or, there's all these little things like that. And once you know those, then you're really stretching those muscles that you're meant to be stretching. So it's more than just sitting down and stretching, and a lot of it has to do with breathing, learning how to breathe properly. So many Eastern guys will say that Westerners don't know how to breathe, especially when they get anxious or scared or this or that. They like hold their breath. And you can't do that. So yoga is really about controlling your breathing as well. Sorry, Lucas.
Well, the breathing techniques, which are the pranayama, and that's, you can get to stages where you like the Wim Hof, and he uses pranayama techniques to, do the crazy things he knows how to do. So that's one part of it, the breathing, and then you've got, the stretching, obviously. And then there's a lot more to it with the mind sort of side of things as well. So it was a whole science based on, the mind, body, and spirit. So it's not really just about doing poses. It's sort of become a bit more like a fashion thing or an exercise. It wasn't really to do. It was, but it wasn't as well. It was more of a mind science.
Mm-hmm. Finding your center and peace within yourself, and it's kind of like meditating in motion.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the secret to yoga, is learning the breathing techniques. I mean, you can stretch, and stretching's good for you, but there's a real synergistic thing that happens if you can get the breathing combined with the stretching and the movements and get it all down into a nice flow that works. I think that's when the sum becomes greater than the parts of the whole. I think it's there's something really cool that happens there.
Oh, definitely. And I, my yoga teacher that I went to wasn't great with that, but she definitely gave you a decent workout and pushed your limits. But, I've been to a few different ones, but yeah, if they can get you to breathe at the right times and in time with what you're doing, you go into this sort of completely different state, really relaxed, but you're also working at the same time. It's quite amazing, actually.
And some of these guys, you know, not the beginners or not even advanced, but these yoga masters, they can do these poses that I know there's one, it's like a handful of people on Earth across the whole plane can do this pose. Just a handful, just like 5 or less can actually get into this certain pose and hold it, without falling over. So there are like super advanced things, to where your body is in such condition that you can do these incredible, amazing things. So you can get physically stronger and, but that takes a long time. It's not like going and working out and building up your muscles. You're doing it. It's kind of like farm work. You don't have big, glamorous, giant muscles, but you're stronger than an ox. You have those farm hand muscles. It's not just your glamour muscles. It's every muscle in your arm is worked and strong and ready to go. Yeah, farmers are some of the strongest people I've ever met. Especially those younger guys out there throwing bales and stuff like that all day long out on the farm. Those were the best wrestlers that I ever watched wrestle. They just had so much more natural strength. Those certain guys would come out and they'd have these big arms and the big pecs and they're flexing and yeah, I'm tough. And they go out there and they just get pinned in like a minute by this guy who's got, like a chubby figure, not fat, but husky, and he just goes out there and rips into this, muscle bound guy like he's nothing and just manhandles him. Yeah, I've seen it happen so many times. Yeah, the big glamour muscles, they look good, I guess, if that's what you're into, but that real strength, that core strength, it's like old man strength working on the railroad his whole life. You go up and shake one of those guys' hands and it's like, oh my goodness, this guy would kill me. Yeah, my grandpa had one of those handshakes till he was like 80. Where he'd shake your hand and you'd be like, oh my God, how do you do that, old man?
I've met a few blokes around here, especially the farmers of that, just like nearly rip my hand in two. I'm just like, got bare hands.
Yeah, it's different. They have that farmer strength.
Shout out to Alan Holman, our executive line producer, going to take off for the day. You relax. We will see you on Friday morning. Much love to you, Alan. Thanks for all that you do. Sleep well.
Love you, Alan.
Thanks, Alan.
So just before I forget about it, going back to just back pain and good ways to get rid of those knots and that tension and stuff. Callum Wilkinson in chat had mentioned a TENS unit, and that is one of those things I absolutely swear by. Just getting those little pads and doing the electric pulses. Just take that knot and then just try to tighten it up a little more and then let it relax, and then tighten it up a little more and then let it relax, and just let those muscles work. Let that electricity get in there and trigger those muscles. Yeah, I'm a big fan of a TENS unit. TENS unit and moist heat, I think, are two great things for back pain.
I've never heard of them. I might have to look it up. Sounds good.
They are. They're just like those little electro pads that are like sticky, and you just put them on the muscle itself. And you might get, depends on the unit, the little box that you have that controls it, but you might get 4 pads, 6 pads, 8 pads, 12 pads. It doesn't really matter. It just depends on how many you want. And then they have different patterns on how the electricity will pulse and trigger the muscles. And you can use the little knob of the variable resistor to determine the strength of the pulse. And it's I'm a big fan of a TENS unit. TENS. There's a couple
I'd
different
never
names
heard of
for
it.
them. Yeah, you go to the chiropractor, and a lot of times you'll get treated with them there. But they're real cheap. They're super duper cheap. You can pick them up just about anywhere for 20, 30
It's
bucks.
like $30.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
It
Real
is
cheap.
real cheap and just so worth it. So worth it.
All right.
Real
Might
quick,
have
I just
to,
want to mention Solar Return is coming March 27th, Greenville, South Carolina, at the Shriner Center again. The 26th, Friday, we have the pavilion across the street at the park all day from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So it's kind of like a 2-day thing. I don't think there will be a lot of whole festival setups at the park. That'll be for Saturday at the convention center, but there's supposed to be a lot of people there Saturday as well. So if you haven't got your ticket yet, go to flatearthfestivals.com and get your ticket. Children under 12 are free. And if you use 1111, you will get a discount for being one of the family that, follows all the shows and hangs out with all the people, all you guys, all you great, wonderful people that are here with us every week. We'd like to give you guys a little bit of a discount, to show our thanks for all the support you give us. But yeah, it should be a fun time. I have no idea how many tickets have sold yet, but I'm sure it's going to be packed. No mask allowed. I don't know about that. So don't hold me to that, but yeah, no mask required, I should say.
You'll get some glares if you turn up with a mask. So, yeah. People may or may not talk to you.
Yeah, I don't recall one person wearing a mask back at Flattoberfest in October. There was well over 400 people there.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a great time. And this one, there's not
And that
going to
was
be
in the heart of it, wasn't it?
Yeah. And this one, there's not going to be so many speakers. It's going to be more arts and music. People are going to bring stuff to sell. People are going to bring stuff to exhibit. And then we're going to have different musicians up there. Jason Lindgren, Rose's Jason from Secrets of Saturn, he's going to be doing his debut acoustic set, first time playing live in front of a crowd. So that should be pretty awesome. I can't wait.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
You going to make it, Lucas? You got your sterile generator running yet?
Just got to go and get a few more parts,
I'm still waiting for you to be like, hey, man, I'll be there in like a half hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Pipe
Shit,
ready.
that would be good.
Just look for the little balsa wood platform. I'll be there real quick.
Oh, I saw something about platforms for troops attached to dirigibles. God, I got to find this article. But they're talking about high altitude platforms for troops. So, I mean, I've been saying that these things have been up there for a while now. I had a buddy in the military told me about these things a couple years ago. He said, once you get up to 70,000 feet, you can't see what we're doing up there.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you get, and especially since they have these, if they're painted the right color underneath, you're not going to see them even with a high power lens. It just merges in with the background, disappears.
How are they staying up there?
Dirigibles.
Just balloons.
They have these 500-yard dirigibles, huge, and there will be two of them, and then a platform in between them. But I don't think it's so much a platform as it is like a building. It's not just a platform with the open top. It's an enclosed platform type thing to where there can be people inside of that. And he told me they're up there all the time. At all times, we have people up there above 70,000 feet. I don't know how true it is, Yeah, but he's like, you would be amazed at what's really up there above our head. And he said they're all over the place, everywhere. But I did see an article. I got to find this article because they were talking about these things, about how the military is going to start using these platforms. You know, whenever the military says they're going to start something, they've probably been doing it for a few decades now.
Like those ships in, like, what was it? Avengers or something? They have those ships there and they're flying around.
Yeah, kind of like that, but I don't think it's based on, you know, that
No,
type
it's
of
not quite. They got
technology.
balloons.
Yeah, it's a balloon. It's a balloon.
Yeah, it's a big
Hindenburg
balloon.
2.0, you know? But
so
yeah, they
Samuel L. Jackson's not there with an eye patch driving it.
These goddamn snakes on this goddamn blimp. That was probably the stupidest idea for a movie I had ever heard of. Did you?
You didn't
see
see
one?
it?
Snakes on a Plane? I saw like the first 20 minutes, and when I got the storyline, I was like, well, this is just the dumbest thing in the world.
So wait a bit. It's just like snakes on a plane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's worse than the trailer that gives you too much. The title gives it away. Just say the title out loud, and you've seen the movie. You get the gist of it.
Well, that's what I figured. That's why I never really went and watched it.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, yeah.
And how the
doesn't
snakes
really
get on the plane is so stupid. It's just the storyline is so not going to happen. You know, the scenario that they made is not a scenario that is ever done. Like, we're going to transport every type of venomous snake on this plane with all these important people here. You know, they don't ship that stuff separately or this or that or no. I'm surprised it
It's
wasn't
like
like
sharks with freaking lasers on their head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a bad one. Samuel L. Jackson never should have done that one.
He probably shouldn't have done a
I
few
like
things.
that guy.
Hey, he's not bad in
like
most
him.
of his movies. He pulls it off.
Yeah.
And
For an actor. I mean, I don't really know any actors, and I don't want to say anything, but we all know how it all works. But as far as actors go, I like Samuel L. Jackson.
I mean, he made Snakes on a Plane, and it helped his career. I mean, for real. Everybody knows it's a bad movie. He knows it's a bad movie. It's somehow making a bad movie for Samuel L. Jackson because he says motherfucker a lot. Helps his career.
Yeah. What was that other one? He done the children's story where, you know, it was go the fuck to sleep.
No.
It's like you haven't seen that one? No. It was just like he was reading a little children's story, but it's really for adults. But it's called "Go the Fuck to Sleep," and it just goes through all these things that parents have to deal with when their children won't sleep. So it's quite funny.
Now, didn't he do Afro Samurai back in the day? Was that Samuel L. Jackson?
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
That cartoon, that was pretty gory too, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, yeah. But I enjoyed Afro Samurai. I just liked the storyline. He had like a ghost following him around because he had the belt. You know, that he was the best samurai in the world, and everybody tried to challenge him to win that belt. And I think the winner of the belt had the ghost of the samurai or something like that. It's been so long since I watched it, and I didn't get too much into it. But it was a neat story.
I thought Ninja Scroll was a lot better than that. Remember that one?
I saw that one. No.
What? Well, you would have for sure.
Ninja
Oh
Scroll.
well, there's your homework.
I gotta go check out Ninja Scroll. Wow, we are creeping up on a break real quick.
We are. It is on its way. I'm not exactly sure when, but it's definitely on its way. So I'm guessing it's like not quite 30 seconds off. So we should be hearing break music. Instead of 30 seconds ago, it should be kicking off right about now. So how do you like them apples? So that wraps up hour number 1 of the Ironworks. Right here on Truth Frequency Radio. We shall be right back after these hot messages.
Truth Frequency Radio is your number one source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We're proud to feature cutting-edge programs like The Christopher Everard Show, The Covert Report with Susan Lindauer, Enemy Within Radio with Tom Barnes, Freaky Friday with The Woo Crew, The Gematria Effect with Zachary Hubbard, America's Evil Genius with Travis Cook, Phoenix Rising Radio with Phoenix, Quantum Connections with Lucky, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117 or call into your favorite show toll free at 833-TFR Live. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
Marking another milestone. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. Somber ceremony at the White House last night. Candles lit and a moment of silence for the 500,000 U.S. deaths now blamed on the coronavirus.
While we've been fighting this pandemic for so long, we have to resist becoming numb to the sorrow. We have to resist viewing each life as a statistic.
President Biden also ordering that flags be lowered to half staff at federal facilities all week to remember the victims of the pandemic. And the House could pass the president's $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package in that time over the objections of Republicans who claim it's packed with pork.
This is supposed to be a COVID bill. Only 9% of it goes to COVID.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, but as Fox's Griff Jenkins reports,
there's little the GOP can do to stand in the bill's way on its way to passage. It heads next to the Rules Committee, where it's expected to move ahead with a final vote possible on the House floor by week's end.
54,000 coronavirus infections reported in the U.S. yesterday. Now, a third drug maker promising millions of coronavirus vaccine doses.
Johnson & Johnson says it's going to be able to get 20 million doses of its COVID vaccine out into the U.S. by the end of March if it gets emergency use authorization. The company put that number out in its written testimony ahead of a hearing Tuesday before the House Energy and Commerce Committee.
Fox's Jill Nato. It was a tough day for tech stocks on Monday. Shares in Microsoft fell while both Apple and Tesla shares both underperformed. The tech-heavy NASDAQ index dropped 341 points, while the Dow eked out a 27-point gain. Early morning Dow futures have swung into negative territory. America is listening to Fox News.
You must unite what has been set aside.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, I'm afraid of course, there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard. To think really hard. To think really hard.
How dare you?
And welcome back to hour number 2 of the Ironworks. Kicking off now. Damn, that first one seemed to just fly by.
It did.
Sure did.
So I'm trying to get into Twitter. I've never gotten into Twitter on my computer. Shows you how much I use it. And it will not pull up my account to get. I don't know what my password is. And I'm doing the password reset, and I entered the thing, and it's just still saying searching. And I'm on like 1 gig internet here, so I know it's not that. Yeah, I was trying to get that paper so I could share it with the people in the Iron Scout chat there on Twitter. We need to start one of those, and now it's just more.
Well, we've got one sort of getting started over in Telegram. Liz is over there now.
Oh, I could put it in there. Yeah, I wanted to share it with them.
I think that.
Yeah, Telegram's pretty good, especially for sharing files and things like that.
Yeah.
I did notice they've put a cap. What is it, like 2 gig or something on the file sharing? It used to be damn near unlimited. Like at least 5 or 10. That's the only reason we got it, because you could share such huge files easily.
Wow, that's massive too.
Yeah, it is massive. That's why we were shocked that we could even do it. Apparently it's real popular now.
All right, so if any of you are in Telegram, it is in the IRM chat in Telegram. I just dropped it in there. It's something I've been working on lately.
There's a link to an Iron Realm Telegram in the show description, but I don't think it's the chat room, so I will drop a link to that chat.
Awesome.
Somewheres.
So you're putting that file or the thing that you wrote about gravity as electricity or electrostatics. Yep.
Yeah, there's, been a discussion about gravity and what it is and what it isn't, and I'd like to put an end to that discussion. Summary real quick. Gravity was never meant to explain what happens down here on Earth, folks. Gravity was designed and theorized to describe what the luminaries above our heads are doing and why they're moving in these motions. That was the original, reason why they started thinking about gravity. Now, down here on Earth, I mean, maybe Newton thought this, mass attracting mass, but for over 100 years now, in college physics courses, they've been teaching that the electric forces actually hold this place together here on Earth. They're 26 times stronger than the supposed gravitational forces of Earth. It's not until you have the moon going around us, or us going around the sun, or the sun going around, the Milky Way galaxy, that's when gravity takes effect. And it's stated very plainly, at least by MIT physics professor Walter Lewin. He states it just like this, that gravity has nothing to do with you dropping an apple down here on Earth and it going towards the ground. That is incoherent dielectric acceleration. And the paper explains those words, incoherent dielectric acceleration, and it kind of explains how it works on, solid matter, and then it goes into how it works with water, and finally how it affects gases. And I'm really trying to get it so I'm not having to use big words, but the big words I do have to use, I define them in the paper. And I really just want to make sure that it's comprehensible to everybody. so that like if a child were to read it, John Savage, big shout out, let his son read it, and his son told him he comprehended it completely, and that just made my heart soar. So that's what I'm looking for. I just want everybody to be able to get it. So I've been passing it around, and I'm not, not putting anybody down by saying that, because it's like learning another language. And if you don't know the language, then you don't know what all the big words are. So I'm really just trying to say, okay, these are the big words I'm talking about, and these are what they mean specifically, these different words. And I'd like, hey, let's stop using the word gravity then. There is no gravity. Fine, I agree. But let's start calling it what it actually is, and start, educating these new people that are coming into this topic, finding out that they don't live on a spinning ball with gravity, and let's call it what it actually is: incoherent dielectric acceleration. That's the actual technical term. And this paper, the video that I'll be making, hopefully is going to explain that perfectly.
Nice. Good one.
And I think I got it. I put some time into this. I put, it's been on my mind for a couple weeks now, and I started putting it onto paper over the weekend, and I've revised it like 7 times since I started. So I have my final draft. That's the one I'm sharing, but it's not really final. This is just the one I'm going to be throwing out there. And then if I need to tweak a part, or somebody doesn't comprehend something, I need to get into it a little bit deeper there, I will. But if everybody can, comprehend what I'm saying, I'm not asking people to agree, just to, comprehend. Don't understand, comprehend what I'm saying. Then I'm happy. That's all I'm looking for, is some feedback on whether or not you get what the paper says. Say anybody that
it gives
willing to give
people a base to move from, then, doesn't it? When you have that, that when they understand the basis of what you're trying to explain, well, then you can move from there. So it's really good to have that and start putting that stuff out. Definitely.
Yeah, I've never made one of these. I've always tried to break it up into small pieces. We'll talk about how it affects this, and then we'll talk about how it affects that, and it seems like when you do it like that, it's hard for people to add them together. The different videos together and make it all one coherent, cohesive force, I guess you would call it. And this way, it's going to be a longer video than you're used to seeing from me. I haven't made over a 10-minute video, and I don't know how long. This one's going to be a little bit longer, I think. Probably like a half hour or so.
I've been meaning to do the same thing with the stuff that I've researched as well, and put it into a PDF or whatever writer thing. But I'm just like, every time I think about it, I'm like, this is going to be pages and pages. Far too much work.
Oh yeah, when I start, excuse me, when I started this in my head, it was a lot longer. And it's like a puzzle almost. You take all these pieces and you try to fit them into this small space. When they're not all together, when the puzzle pieces aren't all clicked in, that takes up a lot more space that way. But once you get it all clicked in and nice and tight, that's what I'm trying to get. All of it encompassed into one video. And I think I got it. I don't know. I was excited. Brought up some things. Even Bob was like, he read the part about electric potentials and densities and stuff like that. And he was like, how did you come up with that? He's like, who told you that? Did you read that somewhere? I was like, well, no, it's just, they say it, but they don't say it, Theoretically, hydrogen has 1 electron, 1 proton, and 1 neutron. And helium has 2 electrons, 2 protons, and 2 neutrons. So therefore, theoretically, the helium is denser. So therefore, it can hold more electric potential in it. And that's how I saw it. It makes sense. I'm not saying that helium is denser in any way, that there's more matter there. I don't know if the atom is correct, but I do know that the way they distinguish these elements is through the electric potential they can hold.
And this would, just thinking about what you just said then, would this tie into frequency then? So something that holds more or, is denser in that manner is a lower or a higher frequency. So matter in itself, because electricity and, frequency go hand in hand, just like magnetism.
Oh, yeah.
So they're all
It's all the same beast.
It is. It's just a different way of looking at it in, different terms, I guess.
I'm reminded again of Hutchison and the way he was able to levitate things and turn metal into liquids, just sort of in these fields that he was creating. The way things would just, the TV cameras would be there and things would just shoot up straight to the ceiling or to the top of this little
area. And it
area.
wasn't just metal. It worked on like yogurt, like all kinds of anything he threw into these certain areas where he could manipulate the field a certain way. I mean, he had a big block of iron. All of a sudden the thing just started, like, it looked like it was disintegrating. Like the iron was just turning to dust and falling off. And then the whole thing just like turns. Like the base was staying there and the whole top half of this iron bar turned. It like twisted the bar and then fell over. Just crumbled it into nothing. I don't know how true it is. I wasn't there, but something's going on. Something is definitely going on with this guy. He did a lot of work for the military. He's got some very high-funded backing.
Yeah. The number of laboratories that he's had raided by whether the U.S. government or the Canadian government should tell a rational thinking person that he's probably onto something there, because they're trying to take whatever he's got.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's really, a cross-dresser, but I think sometimes these super genius people start acting like that to get people to leave them alone.
Yep.
I mean, just in the comment sections, I saw people every single day asking him if they could come work with him and do this and do that and yada, yada, yada. And, it's got to get old.
Now, there's a story I would really like to hear. Doc Michael says he helped John Hutchison modify his levitation experiment. Instead of 2 analog waveforms, I had him use 3 square waveforms. That is awesome.
Yeah, my pay grade.
So was he hard to communicate with, Doc? I was just curious if John is difficult to communicate with, or was even back then. Invited up to Gold Beach. Is Gold Beach where he was building his gigantic laser to clean up the oceans?
Yeah, in Oregon.
I think that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would sit there and play with, was it uranium or one of these really radioactive elements? And he'd be like, yeah, I can play with it. He'd just sit there playing with it in his hand and showing you how radioactive it is with the meters and everything. He's like, yeah, and then I just, walk up and down this hallway a couple hours a day, and I have my, not so much a laser as it is like well, I guess it is, like an energy beam type device, but you don't see like a light come out of it. And he just says, I spend some, a couple hours a day walking around in front of it, and all the radiation is removed from my body.
Oh, wow.
After Fukushima, he was pointing it just out at the ocean. He was real worried about the Fukushima thing.
Yeah, that sort of just disappeared, didn't it? That thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was going, ah! And all of a sudden, nothing. Silence.
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks into it. I was watching every day like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And then all of a sudden, it just wasn't on the news anymore. Just bloop, gone. I was like, wait a minute. Did we get it? Is it done? Is it not leaking anymore? And then you never heard anything about it again. That was it.
That's the worst about the news. It's like that, they lie in that, but they never finish a story either. There's no going back and seeing what happened, and they just keep, moving on to the next thing. It's like, yeah, but if you had an interesting story, why not follow up and
finish it.
Yeah,
it's like
tell us
watching
about
up
it.
to like the last half hour of a movie and being like, all right, have a nice evening, folks. We're not going to show you that last half hour.
I think they do that on purpose, though, like so you actually never understand what's going on. You're constantly just given bits and pieces of things all over the place, and that you actually can't make a coherent sort of, say if they're telling you about the markets or whatever it is, some political stuff. And if you try to get some sort of idea of anything, you just can't. You can't make sense, heads or tails of it.
Well, and I think
and everyone just probably after. Yeah, go.
I was going to say that your brain probably does in some fashion. I think there's probably a good reason, as much as the news is a brain, or when you want to spread a lie, it's got to have a little bit of truth in it to really sell the lie. Especially when it comes to television, it's great if you can also get your truth, get your lie, and still leave a little bit to the imagination. Let that brain fill in gaps so that people can start to perpetuate whatever storyline. We're not going to tell you everything about it, but here's this big corona story. So all these numbers, all these things, it's all because we say the percentages of cases, you're thinking deaths, because we leave enough to the imagination that we don't really give you the full story. We'll let your brain and your fear and your imagination run wild and let you guys make of it what you will. And I think that's one of the really good ways that I think TV brainwashes people, is it allows them to sort of brainwash themselves and perpetuate their own fears and their own whatever things they've got going on by allowing that little bit to the imagination. Well, it sounded awfully bad. God, I bet that ended horribly. Probably shot him in the head. God.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
exactly. And it's like, the nuclear thing, and they're just, everyone's seen the movie, so they're playing off basically all these different sort of, movies that have come out with all these different, negative things that have happened, and then they only have to say a few words about nuclear on the radio, and all of a sudden it brings back all these memories. So, yeah, it's all tied in, and it just, drives you mental.
Well, yeah, and by not finishing the story, there is no accountability.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because the last thing the news or any of these politicians want is actual accountability.
Mm-hmm. Have to go and retract a statement or this or that. We just won't make a statement. We'll talk about this for a little bit, and then we'll just not talk about it at all. We won't come to a conclusion.
And they never acknowledge their mistakes unless they're really their hands forced, or they've got another agenda at play with it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's always good to hear people that are able to retract their own words or change their opinion or reserve the right to be wrong. It's somewhat refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, Is there any accountability for these people, really? Look at the presidents of the United States. How many have ever been imprisoned after leaving the presidency for crimes they committed while in office? Zero.
Yeah, zero.
Zero. Not one. So, I mean, there really is no accountability at these levels. You know, so most of the stories I see when they're talking about holding these people accountable, you know, and then punishing them, I write it off as this is just a story. This is nonsense. They're telling us to look here for a reason because they don't want us looking at something else that's going on right now. Whenever they bring out one of their own and start to crucify them, you know, that's a show. None of these people actually ever really do time. They never, you know, they're not held accountable for anything. I mean, is Epstein on some island somewhere hanging out with Kobe and whoever else? I don't know.
Probably.
But they're not held accountable for their actions ever. But they will, you know, fake sacrifice some of them. Shit, Epstein could have had surgery and he's back working. He could be sitting in the same office right now. And we would never know. You know, so when they crucify their own, that's just they want you to see that. They're showing you this so you're not focused on something else. In my opinion, at least.
Wasn't it the Dalai Lama is sort of selected and they know who it is based on these certain objects? And only the right Dalai Lama would pick the ones that he would recognize and identify as his. Am I wrong in thinking that? Did I hear that somewhere? Am I making
No, that's correct. I think that's correct. And there's
Avatar?
Yeah, similar to that. Yeah, so the Avatar. So it's the reincarnation sort of thing. So they're looking for a certain that the one that was beforehand reincarnating, and then they give them the job again, in a sense.
So what if that's one of these hacks that the elite have figured out, is how to purposefully reincarnate? So maybe Epstein killed himself. Maybe they don't really give a shit whether they kill themselves or not because they know how to come back and how to be found, like the Dalai Lama or like the Avatar.
Wow, that's pretty wild. Is that where they take the children at the hospital for that first couple hours or whatever? Go and do these tests?
I think
this could be one of them. We need to switch this one out.
Uh-huh.
What baby looks like this one? Yep, this baby looks kind of like that one. Okay, this is their baby now. And this one is so-and-so that needs to go to this family. Maybe it's in the blood.
I don't know. That's not my area of expertise, but I could see how they could do it just even normally with keeping their bloodlines, and just perpetuating a type of mentality. You know what I mean? It's like a certain breed of dog or cat or whatever it is.
What if you could take a person and mentally break them so that they just become an open receptacle, and that they can guide that reincarnation into an empty receptacle, but you have to have an empty receptacle to go into first. And that's one of the purposes of these monarch mind control programs, is to break these vessels so that should the time come, the important people will have a body to get back into. Then they just take over and they can go on about their business. And it looks like a psychological break from the outside. Like, oh, dude, that person just went nuts. And then they get their help and then they act semi-normally again, but they're never the same person they were before. Maybe quite literally. Maybe they were that open vessel. One of the elites died and needed a place to go, and they just dropped him right into one of these sexy Hollywood bodies to go continue their dream elsewhere.
Yeah.
I'm just talking
There's
about
so much unknown about that side of things, and you know what I mean. Like, and maybe one day, break.
Oh, look at that. Maybe one day. Oh, sorry. Better luck next time. That only gives us 30 minutes left. So we shall see you all right back on the other side. TFR Pay Some Bills. We'll be right back.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Anne, before I started using this product, every afternoon my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you have hard water, the Live Scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate Lime Scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products, available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Dowsing is the ancient science of finding water and metal underground. Albert Einstein said that dowsing was tapping into earth energies which modern science as yet does not understand. Diamonds, silver, gold, and platinum objects have all been found using dowsing. And now, for the first time on film, we visit the pyramids, Stonehenge, and ancient sites, dowsing for buried treasure and tapping into this mysterious earth energy.
The Enigma Channel. Intelligent television for planet Earth. EnigmaTV.com.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
First off, the earth is flat. Motherfuckers should have knew I start my verse with that. If it's a ball to show me where it's curving at, the UN
Here's a
logo is a
message
flat
of
earth
importance
mat.
to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are the way. We are the way. We are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs, if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, start taking iron today.
Oh shit.
And welcome back. Fourth and final segment of the Ironworks kicking off right now. My mic is acting really strange. I think it's about done for. It was an old used mic to begin with. Second generation ball microphones that Blue made. Everybody's pretty familiar with a Snowball, the USB mic that got real popular. But that's like fourth or fifth generation. Mine is the 8-ball, the Blue 8-ball microphone. Still an XLR, but yeah, I think it's done for. I don't know if I transmit differently, but I'm pretty sure that it's not going to be my headphones that are going out. So might have to go back to my old one until I get a new one.
Oh, sound pretty good to me.
Yeah, I'm not. You definitely sound different in a on your phone, but I still hear the bass now. Yeah, it don't sound bad.
You got to have that bass for the radio. You know, they put those things on the. I'm pretty sure they put stuff on their vocals to make them do that. I'll have to work it out one day.
Oh, they definitely do. They compress it. They
compress it,
EQ it. They definitely process that shit before it goes out.
Oh, so what I was going to say before, just to finish off the conversation, just sort of like how Flat Earth has opened up the inquiry of, how things are going on, and same with the mud flood. It's, getting us to question our history. And I just think those sort of ideas that you're putting forth, maybe down the track, there's something, the same sort of thing that opens up, and we almost say, hold on a second, and sort of have to reframe our maybe spirituality or this idea of reincarnation and how it works and things like that. So I don't put it off the table, that's for sure, but I think these things and processes we're going through now may be stepping stones to even greater things, hopefully.
Absolutely. I think that's the key. You just have to constantly grow. I mean, we all get stagnant sometimes, you know, where it seems life gets heavy and you're just don't even want to get out of bed. Everybody has those days, but it's finding yourself that next day and being like, I'm not doing that today. I'm going to go learn about this, or I'm going to go accomplish this. You always got to have that fire under you. Me and my mom were talking about this the other day about, you know, most older people, they, unless it's like a, you know, a serious medical thing, they tell you when they're going to die. Old people are resilient. I mean, they have that power in them. And if they have a reason to be here, they can go through some really horrific stuff to stay here in this place. You know, and it could be loved ones. It could be like Stephen Hawking's case, science, the love of science. You know, not saying that that was real, that he was able to do that, but I remember my grandma, about a year before she died, she started telling me, you know, we used to sit down and it would just be me and her. And she'd be like, Zach, now don't tell anybody, but I'm ready to go see Grandpa. She's like, you know, I love you, I love everybody and all that, but I'm just tired. And I'm ready to go see Grandpa. And it took about a year. I think she was letting me know and then making up her mind in her own head, you know. But she didn't have any illnesses. She just went to bed one night and didn't wake up. And I think that we almost choose, like I said, unless it's a car accident or something, you know, horrific, you get poisoned by the medical institution. But when you have that reason to be here, it gets you out of bed. It gets you going. It gives you that reason to move on. And you just, as long as you have that, I think, you know, you will. Until you're ready not to. You decide, okay, I'm done. I really think it works like that. We have that type of power. We really do. All right, my rant's done. Sorry about that.
Well, we only got about 15 minutes left. So I just wanted to say good morning to Jonathan, to Johnny in the Flow.
Well, I'm not going with that name yet. After hearing that opening, I'm trying to figure out why I got out of bed. Hey guys,
there you go, Jonathan.
I don't recognize that voice.
Yes, you do.
I'm feigning ignorance. How you guys doing?
Not too bad, man. How was your weekend?
It was good.
Yeah.
I took a little fall yesterday on my bicycle though. I got little scrapes and whatnot, and you know, mommy wasn't around to pick me up, but I'm okay.
You got up anyway, right?
You know, I got knocked down, but I get up again. That whole song
to keep you down.
And it wasn't a whiskey drink or anything like that. So, what did you guys talk about this morning? I missed. I literally was sleeping today.
Well,
so
we sang some songs to remind us of the good times, and then we sang some songs to remind us of the bad times.
Oh, Josh, really?
You should have heard Josh. He did this soprano. It was amazing.
Yeah. I'll go back and listen to the.
It was Carmela. I do a great Carmela soprano.
Where's Mr. Walt? He hurt his back or something, or he just pulled his back?
Yeah, he tweaked it somehow,
Mm.
crawling around underneath his house.
Oof.
Yeah.
All right.
It happens with us old timers.
Yeah. Was I? You know, I called in actually yesterday. Not knowing what day it was. I was all gung ho, got up because Lucas knows. I called him briefly. Right, I was like, and I went and got breakfast and everything. I was all excited. I went to Waffle House, and because I didn't feel like cooking, it was too early, and I didn't want to wake anybody in the house. And I got my, and I call in. I'm like, what the heck? And it was Chris and Sheree, and they're like live from TFR, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see if this goes. And then it was like May 16th, or it was May 2016. I'm like, oh,
wait a minute.
Yeah, I just listened for a few minutes, and then I was like, son of a. So yeah. Then Lucas informed me what day. What's that?
All dressed up and no show to be on.
You know, right? And then what'd you say, Lucas? You're like, Jonathan. You didn't say, Jonathan, are you okay? You were kind of, you were nice about it, but you were kind of like, are you okay? Do you know what planet this is? Do you know what day it is?
I didn't know what was going on. I just seen the phone ringing, like TFR or whatever, Ironworx, and I'm like, what's going on here?
You know what the weirdest thing is on my end, right? I'm looking at the screen, or I'm looking at my phone. I was in the car at the time, and I'm watching everybody's name drop off the call. Like it says participants.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are still in there, I guess, in a queue in a sense, right? And I'm hearing this show go on, and I'm seeing like Walt disconnected, Lucas disconnected. I'm like, wow, everybody's in on it except me. Like, what's going on here? Anyway,
I've done it. It was actually a show day though, but I didn't call I did call Ironworx, but we had like 50 people in the. It was right after the. I forget why there were so. Maybe it wasn't Ironworx. I called something, meaning to call Ironworx that early in the morning, and I dialed like Paul on the plane. I dialed like everybody. There was just all these Patricia Steer. There was a bunch of people. I think it was after the New Year show. I called that chat.
Well, if you can listen to yesterday's show from I guess Chris and Sheree Geo, what's interesting is how Chris opened up. I don't want to give it away. You have to go and listen. There you go. This will pull listeners to the show, but he was very specific about this whole flat Earth thing. It was very interesting. Anyway,
in a good way.
For some, kind of frees them from the burden. Anyway,
yeah, it's getting out there. There's people. I had one of my buddies from high school. Get this, ain't talked to him in over a decade. Since I moved out of my hometown and out to the country to get away from my all my demons. And he was like, Zach, how's it been, man? This and that, And oh, what's up, Goose? And we were just, and he's like, so what have you been up to, man? And this guy was one of the guys back in the day that I could talk to about conspiracy theories and this and that. And he was, he was all about it. He knew. He had the eyes to see. And he doesn't do any type of social media. He doesn't get on YouTube. He doesn't, nothing. Twitter, no Facebook, nothing like that. He is like anti all that. I don't even know if he has like anything more than a flip phone still. But he's like, so what have you been up to, man? I was like, oh, dude, I got some crazy things to tell you. Just insane.
Wait, he said this, or you said?
No, I said this, and he said, "Are you about to tell me that the Earth is flat?" And I was like, "Yeah." Or he's like, "Are you about to tell me you think the Earth is flat?" And I was like, "No, man, I know it's flat." He's like, "Yeah, so do I." So I mean, it's getting out there to people that don't get on social media at all. It's not just people here on YouTube or Facebook or any of these platforms. There's people that don't look at any of this stuff, and they're still hearing about it.
Yeah.
So it's growing. It's definitely growing.
Well, like I've stated many times. Go ahead, Lucas.
Yeah, the Bush Telegraph. That's all I was going to say. That's it. I'm done. You go.
You're very effective with your words.
Thank you.
Make them count.
It always helps for radio, doesn't it? When you can just sum things up in a real short sentence.
You know, it's too bad you got a face for you don't really have a face for radio. You should belong in front of the camera. So
I don't know about that.
So why don't we take a call real quick, because I want to definitely catch up.
Let us go ahead.
Yes. Good morning, caller. Are you there?
Check, mic check.
Mic check, 1, 2. Does this thing work?
Hey.
How's it going, Allison? How you doing?
Well, it's going great. I just spent a few hours with I call her Night Shift Mary, because I met her when she was guarding some equipment when they filmed the Night of the Living Dead over here at the shop, even though I'm not there. But I met her where they're handing out water while she's guarding the water tonight. And we felt each other out, like when we first met, like one of those, not, out, not up, but a couple questions, and then it was like, okay, flat or ball, and flat, bam. And that's, and y'all were just talking about that. So, and I was driving back from Austin to Taylor, Texas, and
So
I
did
needed
you
to
ask
deliver
her?
pizza in Austin. We kind of, it was kind of mutual. Because we both knew a bunch of other shit with, we were going down the same trail, and it was real quick. It's like, I'm not beating around the bush anymore. You know what I mean? So, and neither was she. And she was, she's really cool, and it was neat. And that was my first, and she's right here, close.
Yeah, they're
and
everywhere.
it was great.
Everywhere.
Yeah, and she's asking me, so did you think the Texas, the storm we just had was like a thing? I said, oh, definitely. It was a fuck you, Texas. So I didn't try to burn snow or anything, but it was just really cool. And I gave her my I let her borrow my book, The Invisible Rainbow, about electrifying the planet, and it was really cool. And I turned her on. I feed her stuff because she's a night watchman, so she's got 12 hours to sit there and learn stuff and absorb stuff, and she likes me, which is always nice, because when you're weird all your life, what, anyway. So it was just really cool, and it made my day. And now I'm gonna take a 7-year-old to breakfast for before school today, and that'll be fun.
That will be fun.
And I'm getting a dog. I'm rescuing a dog today.
Oh,
And I'm tuning up the
congratulations.
van today. And so maybe I'll take some pictures. And thank you. We got 550. So anyway, it was I love you guys. And I think that that Lucas should he has a face for video.
Look at that.
Yeah. You're well. Oh, it's a blinking red light. You can stop and go. And I don't know if I told y'all the story the other morning. It was like 4:30, and I heard the first highway car, and I was like, how much went into making that one, so that person could go from point A to point B in that vehicle? The energy, the energy, the time, and all the components and everything, and away from nature, of course, because I want a mule or a donkey, right? To know my transportation, and it just hit me like, say a waste, but a waste, it got away from nature on these rubber tires, on these asphalt roads, all in our own little things. So I'll get off my soapbox now. I love you guys, and let's see.
How's the camera work
And
coming?
Am I breaking up?
Nope, you're doing
The camera. It got cold here, and I need some tutorials. I need some off the air person, to do that. I threw in the chat the other morning, but you guys are busy,
I miss a lot.
And I'm gonna read a story or something to just get at least something on the channel. I was thinking about doing some restricted Dr. Seuss, age-restricted Dr. Seuss.
There you go.
I was reading some this week. Okay, I don't want any eggs, and kind of put the spin on it, like, oh, see, look, closed mind, see what happens, He was ignorant. His mind was closed to green eggs and ham. How did he know? Right? So, don't. That was serious, condemnation before investigation.
That's
right?
right. Uh-huh.
So,
exactly right.
just because they're green. So anyway, I used the word volume, but I am driving. But and I used to live in Raleigh, North Carolina. I can do big cities, but being in the country for a while and then being at Taylor, it's like I get turned around in Austin. But if I just deliver some pizzas, do some deliveries there, or do some night watchman work myself, so I can, because I like being in the van
Is
and all.
Austin as bad as Dallas? Because I swear,
Dallas?
Dallas's highway system.
Well, it's I don't know. I just know like where a bunch of them meet up like right there where I just was, and I don't always get turned around. I used to get turned around all the time. I get better every time I go in there. I get better and better. Well, and plus we're dumbed down with our little apps and stuff that I don't have an Austin Street Finder. Where you turn a page and you go. And I'd like a real map. I like real directions and a real map. And when the sign says, East 620 and I want to go North 620, I don't want to go east or west. I want to go north or south. And then the dude on the thing telling me something different. And I'm like, no, it doesn't go there. But I'm getting, whoa, what was that? Some kind of animal or something, I think. I hate that. Getting a cow dog. I'm rescuing a dog today.
Oh, awesome.
And very excited. This dog, we already bonded, we already love each other, and the dog needs to know where his dog is. Well, the dog is Lunar.
Ooh, cool.
Lunar, yeah. And he needs something to do. He's 7 months old and he needs something to do. He'd be a great agility dog. I mean, he's really smart, and he's one of those, no, and just he'll stop doing what he's doing. This whine. He's hilarious. He got in my hammock with me yesterday, so I was cleaning out the van because I could do tune up on it probably today, and trying to get stuff organized, and he got climbed up on the hammock with me. On the hammock. But once scared, it was awesome. So awesome. But
sounds like he loves you already.
Well, he does, and that's why. And I was asked, earlier, tonight to last night, to, if and I've offered money for the dog because I knew that the dog wasn't being, didn't have enough patience around him to deal with his intelligence. Okay, and anyway, and so I was like, okay, I'll give you $100 for the dog. First one was how much for the dog, and then I'll give you $100 for the dog. And but I don't have to pay for the dog. But the dog needs to go to the vet and stuff because there's some inherent problems with this particular hybrid breed. And anyway, that's all right because the universe brings my animals always find me. The animals find me. And the day when the birds come around me, like what's her face, Snow White, at the well, that's because I see it happening in my brain already. I do. I'll tell you the story sometime when we have some more time. It is 5:55. 5:55.
Yeah, it is getting to be about that time.
Change. And you guys are great. And thank you. I'm looking forward to reading this paper, your explanation, because
let me know what you think.
5 kids, yeah. Because if you can understand it if you can explain it where I can understand it, give me the definitions. You know what I mean? Because you don't know the vernacular. How do you know what 86 means if you never worked at a restaurant, right? And such. So very excited about that. Because like I said, I'm from 5 until 12. These kids I hang out with and get to take one to breakfast every day. To have some cool time. I love to teach. So awesome. And I'm already dropping hints about it's a lie.
Well, thanks so much for calling in, Allison. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening to me. I don't have to call the therapist this week.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
We'll talk to you later, Allison.
You so much.
Yep.
I hope so.
Have a great week, and we will talk to you later. And that's it.
Love you too, man.
All right. Thank you so much, Lucas.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Zach.
Yeah.
Love you, Walter. Get better. Feel better.
And I'll,
Rest well.
yeah, Walter. Yeah. I'm laying hands on his back right now. As I speak.
Perfect. Love you guys. We'll see you back here Friday morning for another exciting episode of the Ironworx on Truth Frequency Radio. Be good. Be well. Bye-bye.